Really enjoyed those words in the last session or segment where you said exercise personal mind control. You've also used the term here today of knee-jerk. You've said it a few times, and almost think about the concept of mind jerk, which of course has the word jerk in it. And
well, it's actually a better statement.
Yeah.
Your mind is jerking in response to
Absolutely.
what you're observing. And you could give yourself a less jerky ride if you would get better shock absorbers.
And it this body of information has been this wonderful focus on the emotional aspect of truth.
Because everything's vibration and your emotion is your meter.
And then just in that statement, personal, which I kind of associate with physical, everyone's in their own body, their spirit.
Perspective, personal perspective, same word to us.
Yep, me too.
My point of view.
Yeah.
My point of view.
Mind, which we've been doing a heck of a lot of fun deconstruction of that for quite a number of years, getting the mind out of the way, because it's a bit of a jerk for a lot of us. And
not getting it out of the way, guiding it.
Yeah.
Because thought is the reason for the vibration, and emotion is the response to the vibration. So we don't want mind to get out of the way. We just want mind to be guided from an emotional desire. Perfectly stated. Mind, we don't want your mind out of the way because you need your mind to focus.
Absolutely. I know
but we want your desire for the emotional outcome to be the basis from which you focus your mind. In other words,
some of us had to get it out of the way altogether, in a sense. I mean, some people do.
That's why we teach meditation, because
Absolutely.
it's easier to teach you to have no thought than to have positive thought when you've been practicing negative thought.
Okay.
Or it's easier to, when you think about what we've been saying recently, that there is specifically negative, which is really strong attraction of what you don't want. There's generally negative, which slows it down. There's generally positive, and then there's specifically positive, and you can't jump from specifically negative to specifically positive. So in the conversation that we're having here is, what does, when you say stopping your mind altogether, which is what meditation is, how does meditation fit into that? Meditation takes specifically negative to generally negative to nothing. To know point of attraction. It stops point of attraction. And when you stop your point of attraction for even just a little while, every single time you'll move positive. Every single time. When you stop doing that thing you do that holds you apart from source who is calling you, then you begin to move in the direction of source. In other words, if you could meditate long enough, you'd move right into the vortex. But then most of you wake up and face life again and talk to the people who you're committed to talk to, and out of habit you talk yourself back by using the power of your mind. So it's not fair to say, well, if I could just get my mind out of the way. Isn't it more accurate to say, if I could just focus my mind in the way that I mean to? Now, what should I use as my reason to focus my mind? Caring about how you feel.
Right.
And then you're home free.
Absolutely. And so much better, precise words, naturally. Love it. And so talk about relative truths, because there's an emotional truth, there's a mind truth, which we've been deconstructing.
Wait.
Did you say wait? Okay.
We're trying to digest this irrational thinking.
Bring it on. I'm all for it.
Well, flesh it out a little further.
Okay.
So there's an emotional truth.
I'll wait on you. I'm game to do that.
There's an emotional truth. Well, we want to know where you're going.
Okay.
There's an emotional truth, and there is, and you made it sound as if, on the other hand, there is a mind truth, as if they were not always one and the same. Because the emotional truth always exactly parallels whatever mind truth you've got going on. There's never a separation or a distinction between the two.
Okay, was a better word, there's an interplay between mind, emotion, and physical?
We agree with that. I think, I have a feeling response to everything I think. And my feeling response is my true indicator of the vibrational content or point of attraction.
And down the line, my physical is affected. So
because everything that I offer vibrationally manifests, it fills in whatever my thought is. Now here's the accurate way to say it. I focus, whether I do it on purpose or not. When I focus, my focus now is playing off of the juxtaposition between the focus of my source. So when I focus on whatever it is, I have a manifestation immediately.
Yep.
And what's the first manifestation?
The emotion.
The emotion is the first manifestation.
Yeah.
So the thought
Right.
is primary. The emotion is the manifestational response, and after the emotional response, it's gonna fill in with all the other details, isn't it?
And down the line,
Don't you like knowing that?
Yeah. And down the line, then there's the physical. So there does seem to be this interplay, and there does.
But here's the question that we have.
Okay.
Why, when it doesn't feel good emotionally,
Right.
why play it out?
Yeah.
Why? Well, I know I hate this feeling, but let's just see when it all fills in.
Yeah.
If I really hate it as much as I think I'm going to.
Well, and this is why I bring up the word truth, because it seems like there's these three different truths. There's a mental mind truth that we've been functioning on, and we've deconstructed some of that in this body of knowledge. There's an emotional truth, and we're learning about higher ones. There's also this physical truth, which is kind of, downstream, so to speak. And yet there's the truth of the soul. Which truth do you follow? Well,
first of all, we're going to nitpick over the word truth, because anything that you focus upon becomes true. The fact that I'm looking at it is a sort of validation of it. The fact that I'm having a feeling response to it is a validation of it. And now it's going to manifest. And others are going to look at it, and then we're all going to call it true. And we say, so what? There are all kinds of things that are true that you want, and all kinds of things that, in other words, let's define truth. Truth is we're going to give you something really good here. The definition of truth in the vibrational universe in which you live is anything that is focused upon truly becomes more.
That's nice.
And the more it truly becomes, the more people gather around and herald it as truth. And everything that is truth here could just as well be truth here if people would look here instead of here. There's the truth of wellness, there's the truth of illness, there's a truth of abundance, there's a truth of poverty. And it has nothing to do with anything outside the perceiver who makes it so.
Right. Yeah. And
so we think the word truth has just been rendered irrelevant.
That's
Let's just call it, I get what I think about whether I want it or not.
Get what it... Okay.
Let's just say when I focus with any consistency, the evidence is going to begin showing up. And the first evidential manifestation will be emotion, and then it will just keep filling in and 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 filling in. There's no end to the universe's ability to fill in the decision that I've made with my mind. It's supported by everything that gravitates toward it, because in this universe every thought that's ever been thought still exists, and so there's plenty of materials. Our friend is going out into the woods and gathering up things to make things of. Well, you have this universal playground, and you're out there gathering up things to make your personal world from.
Right. And that gathering up things, would you like to talk about soul or no? And is that kind of irrelevant too? Is soul just like the particular spirit manifestation of one perspective, or is soul kind of now irrelevant like truth?
Well, we've been striving in this conversation today to make it relevant to you in a new way.
Yeah.
We want you to feel how present soul, source, inner being, God, whatever you want to call that source energy, how present that is out here on the leading edge with you. And to the degree that you, now let's call that truth.
Which part?
In other words, we are willing to assign that label to source. Not only would we not call source or soul irrelevant, we would call it truth.
Okay, here we go.
Because everything, because what we want to call truth is the good stuff that all of us have synthesized from life. In other words, when someone is sick, even though it's true, their desire for wellness is the truth we focus upon. When someone is confused, even though it's a fact, and therefore true in the physical format, their confusion causes a desire for clarity that is the truth that we focus upon. So Source has been gathering this improvement, this becoming, and Source stands as the culmination of all that all have sought, and then projects that truth from perspective of soul, if you want to call it that, into your now experience, where you have the emotional acuity to feel whether you are in sync with the truth of who you have become or not. And to the degree that you feel positive emotion, you're in sync with the truth that you've become. And to the degree that you don't, you're out of whack.
And so is there any difference?
So just like we say, there's the point of attraction of who you really are, that law of attraction is responding to, and there's a point of attraction of who you are being in this moment, the law of attraction. Law of attraction is responding to the truthful aspect of where you are. We just think you want to blend with who you truly are, not who you are out on the raw and ragged edge, disconnected from.
And is there any difference between soul and spirit/source? Because like spirit seems to be connected, all that is. We put all these labels on it, but we come down and have this very differentiated experience.
Here's the way we look at this. Whether you want to call it God or inner being or source or soul, whether you want to call it love or truth, whether you want to call it Kundalini energy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you call it. The words don't matter.
I know.
And because it's an individual, personal, vibrational interpretation. You see, as this leading edge creator, you're sifting and sorting uniquely, and you are uniquely evolving. And when you've uniquely evolved, Source will uniquely interface with you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
For you to come into vibrational alignment, let's see if we can find this new place, because this is something that you're reaching for. So if you live in the backwoods where you've never had electricity, or in what you call an underdeveloped country where you do not have the modern conveniences, you still have the ability to come into a joyful life experience, even though the details of your life are very different from someone who lives in an environment like this. So your ability to align with Source is equal, but the details of your life experience are very different. And we're just saying the alignment is the truth worth focusing upon, and the details of your experience are